She stood in front of the glass doors of Hartwell Industries, clutching a wrinkled resume that had been photocopied too many times. Her coat was thin, her shoes worn. But behind her tired eyes, there was something steady, something unbroken. Her name was Lena Carter, and that morning, she was down to her last $5. The receptionist barely looked up when she walked in. "Interviews for cleaning staff are on the basement level," she muttered. But Lena wasn't here for that job. She wanted to speak to Ethan Hartwell, the CEO himself. She knew it sounded insane. But desperate people sometimes do impossible things. If you believe true kindness always finds its way back, please tap the like button now and subscribe to support more stories like this. Lena waited in the lobby until the evening lights flickered on. When Ethan finally appeared, tall, confident, and surrounded by assistants, she stepped forward and said softly, "Mr. Hartwell, please, just 5 minutes of your time." He looked her over quickly, noticing the frayed cuffs, the trembling hands. A trace of amusement flickered in his eyes. "5 minutes? Do you have an appointment?" "No," she said, "but I have an idea. One that could help your company." He actually laughed. Not cruelly, but the way powerful people sometimes do when they think they're humoring someone. "And what exactly can a woman who can't afford a proper coat offer a billion-dollar firm?" Lena's cheeks flushed. "You'd be surprised what someone can see when they have nothing left to lose." The assistant snickered. Ethan started to walk away, but something in her voice stopped him. Maybe it was the quiet certainty. Maybe guilt. Either way, he sighed and said, "Fine. 5 minutes." In the small meeting room, Lena spread a folder across the table. Inside were hand-drawn diagrams and notes, plans for an eco-friendly packaging system that could save the company millions. Her handwriting was messy, her paper cheap, but her ideas were brilliant. Ethan skimmed through it, frowning deeper with every page. "Where did you get this data?" he asked. "I used to run Carter Innovations," she said quietly. "Before my husband passed and our investors pulled out. I lost everything, our home, the company, even my car. But I never stopped believing in what we built." He looked up sharply. "Carter Innovations? The same company we bought patents from last year?" She nodded. "Yes. You bought them through a proxy firm. I didn't even know it was you." Suddenly, the confident CEO felt very small. He remembered the reports, the brilliant green tech firm that went bankrupt after a management failure. He'd never known that the founder was this woman sitting before him, still fighting to be heard. Ethan asked her to return the next morning. But Lena didn't have bus fare. She walked 5 miles in the rain to keep that promise. By the time she arrived, soaked and shivering, he was waiting with 2 cups of coffee. No laughter this time. Only quiet respect. They spent hours going over her designs. Ethan realized she'd solved a supply chain issue his engineers had struggled with for months. She wasn't some desperate woman with a dream. She was a genius who'd been forgotten. That evening, Ethan made a decision that would change both their lives. He offered Lena a position, not as an employee, but as a partner. Together, they would rebuild Carter Innovations under the Hartwell name. Lena stared at him in disbelief. "Why are you doing this?" Ethan hesitated, then said, "Because once, when I was young and broke, someone believed in me too. And I've never paid that kindness forward, until now." Months passed. Their partnership turned the company into a national success. Reporters loved the story of the CEO and the homeless inventor. But what the world didn't see was the quiet friendship that grew between 2 people who had both known loss, both remembered what it felt like to be invisible. 1 year later, Ethan stood beside Lena at a charity event for women in need. Cameras flashed as she spoke, her voice calm and sure. "Kindness," she said, "isn't a business strategy. It's the bridge between who we are and who we still have a chance to be." Ethan smiled, remembering the day he'd laughed at her. He hadn't realized then that she would become the very person to remind him what real success meant, not profits, but people. We'd love to hear your story. What is the most memorable act of unexpected kindness you have witnessed or received? Share it in the comments below. When the event ended, Lena slipped away quietly. She went to a small diner on the corner, the same place she'd once spent her last $5. This time, she paid for everyone's meal before leaving. Outside, the evening air was cool and soft. She looked up at the city lights and whispered, "Thank you, for finding me when I was lost." If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe, because sometimes, one small act of belief can change a life forever.